What's up, Juventini Berto here. This is the HAC, your channel dedicated to Juventus. If you love Juve, smash that subscribe button now because I got you covered. Today, May 24th, I've got all your latest news. Malta has apparently approved a list of 8 players. We're going to take a look at that list and the situations around each individual on there. Then we're going to take a look at Juve's sales list. We're going to take a look at everybody that's on the chopping block and what's set to come there. And then Juve, apparently Chiesa'S priority. He's set to lock in, baby, and we'll take a look at those details and 2 other players locking in apparently later on today. All right, so without further ado, let's get to it, and we're going to kick things off with Juventus and Allegri. We all know the situation after the Coppa Italia and how everything went down. Well, the latest news reports that both parties are heading and working towards a severance package. This severance package, because Juve found just cause in releasing Allegri, gives them this leverage, and apparently we could be saving 7 million euros. And yes, every single euro is critical at this point in time as Juve is set to embark on a rebuild this summer. And as far as that rebuild goes, we get 8 names listed, okay? The 8 names listed that apparently have been approved by Thiago Motta for the rebuild are as follows: Di Gregorio, Samardzic, Calafiori, Brescianini, Colpani, Ederson, Koopmeiners, and Xerxes. All right, so that is the list of the 8 players that was brought forth to us, saying that Motta has approved. Now we're going to take a look at each name on that list and the situations around them. First up, Brescianini. We really haven't heard anything about this player other than the links around the winter mercado, and that's kind of where it has ended. A player that's kind of similar situation is Ederson, but you remember the video I just put out yesterday saying that after that Europa League final kind of stapled his strong season and cemented his spot as probably being seriously looked at by some clubs who need help in the midfield. Will Juve act? We have to wait and see. Di Gregorio. For him, we know that it's almost a done deal, and Juve is just looking at finalizing with the details, but they definitely want to bring him in. He will probably spend a season getting integrated behind Szczęsny before taking over completely. Calafiori. Apparently, Motta wants Bremer to remain and form a partnership between Bremer and Calafiori. All right, yes please. And Juve working diligently to finalize this deal. Samardzic, he's always been in the background. All right, so even when things got quiet around him, we were still hearing from sources like Mirko Di Natale, like Romeo Agresti, that Juve still very much will look at trying to bring him in, and they've always wanted to bring him in, but of course it's going to see what develops with Udinese. But now with them getting relegated and everything, this should help Juventus in a big way in finalizing that. We have to wait and see. Colpani, been linked with Juventus for quite some time through this season, and apparently there are counterparts that could be used there. Miretti is the big name there in possibly making that move happen should they go that route. Koopmeiners, the latest is Juve is going to intensify their approach at bringing in Koopmeiners. All right, they're going to do as much as they can to bring him in. Their hopes is 60 million euro is the price tag, and they're going to try and find a formula to make that happen. He remains high on a priority for Giuntoli in bringing in. All right, and then Xerxes, the latest on him is 40 million euros is what's going to take to bring in the Dutchman, and Juve will try to bring him in. The Xerxes one is probably one I would like to see him added, but I feel like with Dusan, it's going to be interesting to see how it could work. But if you're going in a 4-2-3-1 setup, the idea is Xerxes essentially partnering him up, but playing in behind. I just don't really know about this. But Vlahovic is going to be a big question mark as far as Thiago Motta and the system there. And I'll bring more on that in a separate video, okay? But that is the latest on the 8 names that Motta has apparently approved for this rebuild. But you still have some outlying targets. Zhigrovra from Lille, all right, the winger priced at 15 million euros continues to pop up as this possible target that Juventus could act on. We are going to need help at the winger position. Let's see if Juventus acts. He's still on the list. For Solé, a winger that we currently own that's had a strong season at Frosinone. Everybody wants him to remain. The majority of Juventini want him to remain, but he could draw around 40 million euros. And apparently his future will be talked about next week in a meeting with Juventus. He has 4 Premier League sides already currently interested, heavily monitoring the situation. He's always been distant from Juventus. But the kicker with Solé is, what does Motta want? What will Motta want done with Matthias Solé? We have to wait and find out. For players leaving Juventus, for players on the chopping block, well, Perin, not really on the chopping block, but wanting to leave to start. And you know what? I've always liked Perin. I admire him, and he's never complained one bit, and now he wants to go somewhere and start. I have no problems with it. Parma is who he's linked with, and I think that's a great landing spot. There are also rumors about Roma being interested in Perin. We will see. Kostic set to leave Juventus. Juve looking for 8 to 10 million euros. Crystal Palace is the main team that continues to be linked with the player. There are also some loose links with Roma, but nobody confirming it as of yet. Then you have Moise Kean. He's set to be on the chopping block for Juventus. 15 to 20 million euros is what we're looking at. Hopefully 20 million so we can make a bit, because 15 million euros is break even. He had good interest in the winter mercado. All those same clubs are expected to come back in for Moise Kean. Arthur, Juve is looking for the sale. They want this thing finalized. They don't want him returning any further. He is not in our plans in any way, shape, or form. All right. Fiorentina will pass on the 20 million sale price, but Juve is going to push to find us a purchaser, and they did have good interest abroad. All right. So we will see. Chiesa set to lock in, and it is being said that Juve is his priority at this moment in time, and this makes complete sense. And I know that this is going to make many happy, especially Swarit. I know you're going to love this one, so I better see you in the comments, my friend. Look, he is this makes perfect sense for the 1-year bridge gap renewal. We keep hearing rumors that maybe he tests the market, all right, and maybe Juve tests the market depending what happens at the Euros. However, this one makes a lot of sense. They can work on a better deal later on if they want to keep him beyond that, or they can go back to where we are this summer and sell him if there was no renewal in sight beyond that period in time. But with Motta coming in, a new system coming in, and Chiesa starting to catch better form towards the end of this season, it looks and sounds like the best move for all involved, especially with the fact that there's too much of an unknown in how we were playing. And I said throughout this struggle in the past 3 months at Juventus, it's starting to become a little bit difficult to gauge these guys, because we never had a team that was actually playing with chemistry with one another. So it's going to be interesting to see. But new system, new setup, new coach, that's it. I feel like next season is make or break for Federico Chiesa, all right? Another player that it's going to be make or break for is Manuel Locatelli, and Locatelli getting snubbed from the Azzurri yesterday. He is not on that provisional squad. Folorancho making it ahead of him. Excuse me? Folorancho? Locatelli clearly upset about it. We saw the post on his Instagram, just simply a black page on his stories because he is distraught. Should he have been in the Azzurri squad? Let me know. And last bit of news, Cambiaso Rugani set to put pen to paper on their respected extensions, potentially even as soon as today or tomorrow. All right, so there you have it. That's your news break. You guys know the drill. Hit me in the comments with everything you think about today's news. And out of those 8 rebuild lists that apparently have been approved by Motta, who do you want to see brought in to this Juventus for next season? All right, and until tomorrow's edition, as always, fino alla fine, forza Juventus, ciao tutti.